Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, and Elizabeth Moss, The Kitchen. Channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. You can also find me over Twitter and Instagram at MovieGuy365, as well as over at the Disney Magic Hour podcast. I will leave a link for that in the description. All right, The Kitchen is here in Blu Ray, and as seeing the movie in theaters, it really just it didn't get a lot of attention. In fact, it got pretty blasted as far as critics wise. My opinion of it is, I feel Melissa McCarthy does her best work when she does a serious role. And I also really like Elizabeth Moss. Tiffany Haddish, she works in certain roles. Now, does she work, does she kind of have like the range as a McCarthy does? Like, can she do comedy, which I feel she does really well? Or does, how is her dramatic acting chops? I think she did a really good job here. I think they all actually did a really good job. And I would say particularly Elizabeth Moss and her character. In fact, that's probably one of my biggest complaints of the film is her character didn't get nearly enough screen time, in my opinion. She had some good pivotal stuff, but overall it seemed to really focus on Haddish and to a greater extent McCarthy. I think there were our two mains, and Moss, especially towards the back half of the film, kind of got pushed to the side a little bit, and there's some moments in the film that happened, but I think overall it was enjoyable. It's not something I would say is like essential as far as like a organized crime type of movie. Is this one of your go-tos? It's a fun movie and it's entertaining. There's some great casting, but I feel also, and I mentioned this in my actual movie review, it felt like the production was a little cheap. They kind of filmed the same locations over and over again, and it just seemed like, okay, well, we have a couple days, let's make use of one location, and it's just odd. And I always notice that when they do that in movies. There's a couple that did that recently, but yeah, overall it's fine. It's a worthwhile check out, in my opinion, as far as like watching it. But all right, let's not waste any more time about the movie. Let's take a quick look at the unboxing, and then we'll talk about the picture quality and the audio. Okay, here we have The Kitchen and a nice slipcover. I would have, I get why they did this artwork, but it's not the one I would have picked. I think I would have done something a little bit cooler, but here it is. And also the back cover, standard fare, and pretty much the same on the interior. So, front, back, and what we get here, very basic. So, all right, that's it for the unboxing. Let's talk about the picture quality and the audio. Okay, so The Kitchen by Warner Brothers is an overall good-looking picture. It's given a lot of what I like to call 70s saturation, to make the film look a little dated and kind of in that era. And while I feel certain movies do that a little kind of to a point of mocking it, I feel that The Kitchen handles it fairly nicely. It's a relatively clean-looking image. There's a fair amount of detail and color, and just overall black levels are pretty nice. Nothing to really write home about, but this being an HD image, it looks fine. It looks actually really clean, nice looking overall picture. A couple standouts, I think clothing, because of the era, really kind of show off in the HD format. There's a nice little level of detail that looks nice to you, with that era clothing, and the hair. Oh my God, the hair, it's a good looking overall nice image. It's nothing that can set the world on fire, as I said, but as far as in the world of 4K and such, I think definitely this could have benefited for some 4K. And if you want to check that out, there's a digital version. But as far as Blu-ray goes, I think it's a nice image, and I think it's definitely it doesn't have to take too many liberties with like color, stylized visuals, but it does its job, and it's a fairly admirable job. As far as audio goes, DTS 5.1. Now, movies like this typically like to rely on like your soundtrack, the musical cues, and there's some here, but this is definitely not going to be particularly memorable. In fact, it's an overall slightly underwhelming, 5.1. Yes, there's plenty of action, and those scenes get a lot of attention with your LFE and your front channels. This is a very front-heavy kind of movie, despite being, a little bit actiony at times, with gunfire. But you do get a little bit of surround sound. It's nothing that you really are going to notice unless you're listening for it. But for the most part, it's very front heavy. So I normally would recommend watching any movie in your surround sound setup. But if you don't have one, I don't feel like you're really missing a whole lot as far as audio goes, but if you got it, you got that nice little extra benefit, and it's okay. It is okay. It's just, I don't know, I was kind of expecting a little bit more, and I kind of felt like I got more when I went to the theater. It felt a little more immersive there. And normally I don't have that problem when I bring it home, but in this case, it's very front heavy. But as I mentioned, there is a lot. It's very easy to understand everybody, what they're talking about. And of course, the LFE kicks in when it needs to, and it's fairly aggressive, especially during, like, you know, gunfights and musical cues. Overall, I'm going to give The Kitchen a B. I think it's a B-worthy picture, or a Blu Ray. It's overall just, you know, standard fare. Nothing really outlandish visually, but the HD picture is clean and the audio is very nice. It's just nothing, you know, to write home about. So let me know in the comments below if you plan to pick up The Kitchen. Did you check it out, or did you buy it on Blu-ray? In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.